in shape. There's no question he had that right arm going. And hey, how about Eddie Westphal? He was having a blast out there, wasn't he? He was just a prancing.
There was a hop in his step coming on and off the ice. So great to see Eddie dropping the first puck of the 50th anniversary season. That was a nice touch.
Yeah, the appropriate guy. I mean, the first captain, the first goal. I mean, what else could you want? First pick in the expansion draft. Yep. I mean, so a lot of good things to say about Eddie Westphal, and great representation of the New York Islanders.
And now the first period of the Islanders' new season. They take on the Florida Panthers. The puck is down, and the waiting is over. This season is underway after 6 preseason games and a long summer. The Islanders are back in action, and they start with Nelson Beauvillier and Lee Pelech and Pulock as Carter Verhaeghe chases down this puck for the Florida Panthers. Verhaeghe's pass, Reinhart turns. He got decked by Anders Lee, and a penalty is the result. It's a hooking call just 22 seconds into the first period.
Yeah, and I mean, the Islanders got off to a real nice start there, Brendan, a little offensive zone time, and that's not the way you want to start a game, having to kill a penalty against a very good team. Well, you can just see that, and that's kind of a little inverted, but gets the stick right in the legs, and no choice for the referees to make that early call. And I'm sure they didn't want to make an early call. They want the game to kind of, settle in a little bit.
Especially after the long delay. Obviously, the players weren't on the ice, but that delay is an extra 18 minutes added on between warm-ups and the start of the game. So everybody kind of trying to get the blood flowing a little bit. And now you have to shorten the benches because you bring out the special teams for the first time as Paul Maurice will see his power play go to work.
See what changes, and Paul Maurice has been around a long time, very successful coach.
25th season as an NHL head coach, but his first year in Florida. And alone in front is Tkachuk, and he put it through his legs. He got hit by Pelech. He landed on top of Sorokin. They're still getting them untangled. And now everybody's okay, and Sorokin back on his feet.
And that's what Tkachuk likes to do. He's bumping the goalies all the time. And
Ekblad couldn't weave his way through all the traffic. Bouncing puck. Parise after it. Can't get it out. Tkachuk swung it over. Drop pass on for Barkov. Barkov stands and waits and looks. He'll play it to the top. Ekblad for Montour. Now Ekblad from the half wall. One-timer coming from Barkov. That was partially blocked, and then a scramble forward to the side of that. Popped out Montour. Slap pass. And it's off the stick of Tkachuk. He goes diving after it to make a pass. He winds up clearing the puck for the Islanders.
Quick puck movement by the Florida Panthers, but the Islanders are in the shooting lanes and did a real nice job in front of Sorokin.
Halfway through this power play for the Florida Panthers. After the Anders Lee penalty on the opening shift, this is offside.
Pretty close to too many men on the ice there. Forsling left really early off for Montour. Islanders do a nice job of getting to the loose puck. And again, quick puck movement. And watch the Islanders. That strong move right there. And that's always the fine area. You're trying to take the man out, but you don't want to run your goalie over, Brendan.
45 seconds now. Here's a chance for Cizikas, and it's fought off by Bobrovsky. Well, 180 feet away, they shot the puck down as a clear. Bobrovsky put it on a platter for Cizikas, who was charging hard to the net.
Poorly handled by the goaltender Bobrovsky there.
Anton Lundell gets into the zone and backs it off for Forsling. Gustav Forsling's pass redirected by Cizikas into the Islander bench, and the Islanders 22 seconds away from a successful kill. Well, let's bring in AJ Mleczko's down on the ice between the benches. This was a good chance for Cizikas shorthanded, AJ.
It sure was, and that's what he's known for. Gets up there, gets up the ice, and good heads-up play by Ryan Pulock, too, to get the puck, recognize that he's got a player running, and then take that rebound, almost bury it for Case Cizikas. That would have been a good start for this game for these guys.
Butch, is a penalty killer. You know sometimes those power play guys don't exactly hustle back, right?
No, they think about one thing, and that's scoring goals and staying in the offensive zone.
That shot from Ekblad was blocked by Parise. Scott Mayfield gets to it and sends it the rest of the way.
But the good thing about Casey is he was being aggressive. He knew the puck was coming out of his own zone, so he didn't hesitate. He got up the ice, and he got a good break. Couldn't quite take advantage of it. As you mentioned, AJ, that would have been a great way to start it off, considering they're on a penalty kill.
Not anymore. Anders Lee back on the ice as Pajot's shot winds up in the glove of Bobrovsky. And the Islanders finally at full strength.
The first period is brought to you by
Tonight's goaltending matchup brought to you by Audi. Visit your Tri-State Audi dealer today and get behind the wheel of the Audi model you've always wanted. Sergei Bobrovsky shared the NHL lead with 39 wins last year as he helped his team to a President's Trophy. And Ilya Sorokin, what a sophomore season he had. 52 games, 26 wins, and a .925 save percentage. 7 shutouts for Sorokin.
A big year for both these goaltenders. And you know, you get back to Bob. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, the Islanders are incredibly disappointed, Brendan, at not making the playoffs. Can you imagine finishing first, winning the President's Cup, and getting swept in the opening round? They had to live with that all summer.
Made it to the second round, then got swept by Tampa. But yeah, didn't make any noise against the team that you had to beat, right? You got to beat the defending champs. You want to beat the champs, and they got swept out by not only a good Tampa Bay Lightning team, but the in-state rival Tampa Bay Lightning without so much as a win. Andrew Brunette, who had taken over early on in the season after Joel Quenneville resigned. He coached that team to a heck of a season, but perhaps it was the playoff series against Tampa that let management know that he was not going to be the guy long term, and so they went out and got Paul Maurice, one of the more respected head coaches in the game.
Yeah, when you got a team that good, it's tough to lose a playoff series, and especially when expectations are so high. Here's talk about expectations, Brendan. I'm expecting a big year for Matt Barzal.
Signed an 8-year contract extension that kicks in next year. And Scott Mayfield's shot save made, rebound, where is it? Soshnikov back towards the net. It goes wide. Matt Martin to the back for Robin Salo. Over for Mayfield. Mayfield's shot, that one was blocked by the stick of Lomberg, and it winds up over the glass and out of play. Well, there you see Paul Maurice, longtime head coach of the Winnipeg Jets. And he winds up coming in to take over for Andrew Brunette. You see what they did last year was all about the offense, Butch. This team could score in bunches.
Yeah, I guess at the end of the day, they felt that they needed someone who had a little more playoff experience, someone that demands a little bit more on defense. I'll tell you one thing, when Paul Maurice signed that deal and woke up, he said, am I kidding? Am I dreaming here? Because who gets to go to a first-place team overall as a coach? How many coaches get fired in that position? I can't think of one.
And Butchie, no offense to your Winnipeg. I mean, going from Winnipeg to Florida? Come on, it's an upgrade right there, isn't it?
It's a no-brainer.
What are you trying to say, AJ?
She said the beaches are nicer in Florida than they are in Winnipeg.
She's never been to Winnipeg, I don't think.
Oh, I sure have. Just never with you, Butchie. I'll go next time you can give me the grand tour.
Come in January, AJ.
That's right.
He makes us walk to the rink in January, outside. There's a way to get there inside. Butch insists we go outside every time. Here comes Patrick Hornquist charging ahead. He'll settle for an outside low percentage shot that Sorokin tended to, and that one deflected back from the side off of Sorokin and behind the net. Handled there by Nick Cousins.
I'm not sure he even saw that one, Brendan. It looked like he just looked down as it hit him.
Pressure coming. Cousins, Lomberg, and Hornquist out there for the Panthers as Mayfield ties up his man. Salo continues it along as Nelson gets taken down by Lomberg. Given a little extra as well, and now as a crowd gathers, sticks are up. Cousins and Bellows getting into it. Salo with a shove, Mayfield with a headlock, and everybody grabs a partner.
Fourth line against fourth line. Although Brock Nelson is out there with Anthony.
There were no penalties called before that scrum started. I don't think there's any as a result of that scrum either. They'll move the face-off outside the zone, but everything will remain 5-a-side.
I like that. No harm, no foul. You know, a little intensity out there. Both teams want to get off on the right foot, and that's close to a boarding, but referees are going to let them play if they can and initially. And look at this around the boards. I mean, there's nobody's backing up.
Last year, this was a hit Radko Gudas threw on Brock Nelson that created a little bit of a kerfuffle with Kyle Palmieri. As these teams met 3 times last year, Panthers won them all twice, just like this year. Twice they met early on in the season. Islanders were in Florida twice during that 13-game road trip as Bailey's shot produced a rebound. A
lot of rebounds early on in this period that bounced right out in front. Islanders, they want to drive to the net but stop 10 or 12 feet short.
Anders Lee nearly put Reinhardt into the bench. Bobrovsky gloves and holds that one. As Tkachuk comes over and has a word for Anders Lee, but Lee teetered Reinhardt into the bench, and then he took the linesman in with him.
Well, the Islanders are going to be physical, and they're going to try and finish their check, but they want to play a real fast, hard game. And we saw Anders Lee shoot the puck from the corner, Brendan, and that's a change from Barry Trott's philosophy, who wanted to look for a better shot. Lane Lambert is going to want to get more pucks to the net and let the guys know it's coming to the net, so go to the net.
Barzal, Palmieri, and Parisi working in the offensive zone. Back Parisi trying to cycle that puck for Palmieri. Came back to him and Gudis. Then Tkachuk moves it along for Rudolph's Bolsters. And then Forsling will shoot it around. Bennett lets it roll. Ekblad towards the net, goes wide. Bolsters in front, and Tkachuk's shot ramped off the stick of Romanov and out of play.
Good play there by Romanov as he was covering that slot area. And that's an area that Lane Lambert worked in incredibly, spent a lot of time in that area. And having one defenseman look around and get inside that front of the net, not leave that slot area wide open.
And watch this transition, Butch, too. Great play by Bailey. Gets that puck out of the air. It's about knee height on his backhand and deliberately redirects it backwards to Ryan Pulock, and then they enter the zone. It was a great little subtle play.
Islanders win the faceoff in their own end. Alex Romanov for Bellows, and now Pajot. Pajot to Bellows, bouncing puck, wouldn't settle on his stick. He winds up taking it all the way behind the net. Little behind the back pass, nearly set up Pajot. Dobson a good keep. Romanov shot, that one ramps off a stick and then found the glass. Pajot tried to move it quickly out for Dobson, didn't get enough on the pass. And now it's Tkachuk into the zone. Matthew Tkachuk the drag, and a nice defensive play by Romanov. He was able to stay close enough to Tkachuk that when he went to pull the trigger, Romanov jumped up and was right there.
Gap control is a key word for the Islanders this year. That's another one of Lane Lambert's philosophies. Want the guys up much tighter.
Giveaway that time by Romanov. Lindell back in. Good job to get back on the play by Matt Martin. And then Cizikas got in the way of a dump in, and it winds up jumping into the seats. We are off and running here on Long Island. Scoreless hockey so far. Just more than 6 minutes gone.
We believe being extraordinary.
Of the NHL, scoreless first period so far. Hey, you could win a pair of tickets to the Islanders San Jose game on October 18th and an Islanders team signed jersey in the WBAB Islanders player to watch sweepstakes. Listen to Roger and JP on 102.3 WBAB tomorrow morning at 8:50 a.m. and call in for your chance to win. Remember, the WBAB Islanders player to watch is Matt Barzal. Carter Verhaeghe gets the puck off the draw, comes in, testing Sorokin, but fired high and wide. Verhaeghe on it again. It's Verhaeghe, Barkov, and Sam Reinhart that constitute the top line for this Florida Panthers club as this deflected puck came to Lee, and his pass to Beauvillier gets on through, and this will be an icing. No more Jonathan Huberdeau on this roster for the Florida Panthers. Some major changes during the offseason. A trade with the Calgary Flames that sends Huberdeau to Calgary along with Mackenzie Weegar. And in return, they get Matthew Tkachuk and they lock him up long term.
Also a first rounder too, Brendan. They also gave up. And that's a big trade. And we'll have to see who gets the better of that particular deal. You're talking about three really good hockey players. Florida Panthers obviously felt they need a little more grit up front. But they lost an awful skilled player in Huberdeau.
You know, the other thing is the Weegar trade. That's a big loss for them on the back end. Their defense is going to be a question mark for me.
Penalty here against Stahl and the Panthers as he stuck the skate out and clipped the back of the legs of Beauvillier. And it's a tripping call against Mark Stahl. Islanders will get their first power play.
Yeah, they brought Mark Stahl in probably to replace Weegar. And Mark Stahl has been a good player in the National Hockey League, getting a little older, not as quick, but certainly a world of experience. But yeah, there's the left leg as he kicks that one out, AJ. And well, you're a former defenseman. You probably did that a few times.
What? Come on, Butch. No way. Never did that. I play clean. Yeah, that's a good call by the officials, of course. And this is a good look for them right now. Get a power play. They had a great penalty kill, and let's see what they got on the man advantage.
That's got to be an instinct, though, right? You know you can't do it.
Right. It definitely is. You don't want to let them by. That is absolutely an instinct. And if you last minute throw your leg out, oh well. Just hope there's no injury.
Well, one thing about the power play they've been practicing is the quick puck movement. Changing positions a little bit, but not a lot of player movement, but very quick on the puck movement, trying to go high, low, back to the middle of the ice. And so let's just see if they can produce what they were trying to do in practice.
Islanders power play was 18.8% last year, which was 21st out of the 32 teams in the NHL.
But was really good down the stretch, too. At the end of the season, when all seemed lost, that was the one bright spot in March and April.
Yeah, they've got to be in the top, I say the top 1/3. And we'll see what percentage that is, but that's an important level for me.
Last year, they were in the top 3 in terms of their home power play percentage. Palmieri trying to go to the net. It was blocked by Forsling. Hard around for Matt Barzal. Pressure coming from Losterinen. Barzal well, the intent was to get it to Nelson, but it was ripped off his stick by Lundell.
Yeah, good defensive play by Lundell. He came back to the slot area, and that the bumper play to Nelson would have worked normally, but good aggressive move by the forward Lundell.
Parise to Barzal. It was in his skates. He's able to drag it into the zone. Gudas around, and somehow that got through Bailey. And here comes an odd man rush for the Panthers. Short-handed. It's Tkachuk. The drag around Beauvillier, and he shot it high. And it winds up off the glass and out of play. Turned into a 3-on-1 for the Panthers. And an awfully good look at the net for Matthew Tkachuk.
They came up the ice with an awful lot of speed and a good move around Beauvillier by Tkachuk to get in on Sorokin. Sorokin held his ground, though, pretty well.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the tail end here. Everybody had changed except for Matt Barzal, and I remember that from last year. Barry Trotz used to get frustrated that he has the tank of gas to stay out there for the whole 2 minutes, but he didn't want him to. It'll be interesting to see if Lane Lambert gives him a little bit more leash.
Maybe like Phil Esposito, who used to stay out 2+ if he could.
I guess it depends how you play. If you park on the far blue line on the breakout, you can do that, right?
Absolutely.
Alexander Ovechkin last year was on the ice for 93.5% of all power play minutes for the Washington Capitals.
Not a lot of back checking.
Very little, and you knew where he was going to be, so there wasn't a lot of movement. Maybe more with the arms than the legs.
This one pops out for Barkov, and Sorokin has to make a tough save here, as that's a second scoring chance on this Islander power play for the Florida Panthers.
A good move, too, by Sorokin. He didn't stay back in his net. As soon as he realized that Barkov was going to have a real good opportunity, smart play, just slides into the slot. But look at Sorokin. He gets right out at the top of the blue line, pushes forward, and takes away a lot of the angle for Barkov, and he just fires it, and a good save by Sorokin. I like that aggressive nature. Very much in control.
Here's Pajot for Beauvillier. See if the Islanders' second unit can get set up in the offensive zone. Beauvillier takes a hard hit from Gudas. Montour trying to pin it in his skates. It's wrestled free. Lundell, the first one to it for Florida. And Lundell just outskates Parise, now working on Salo. Took some seconds off the clock and then whips it into the zone and heads for a change.
There hasn't been much of a power play for the Islanders. Really haven't had any kind of control.
15 seconds to go. Beauvillier on the dump in. Can't get it back. And one more clear will wind down the clock on the Islander power play. Tkachuk steals it away and then centers a pass that was a shot high by Sam Bennett. And it ricochets all the way down the ice.
Sorokin tried to fool Tkachuk. He guessed in the right direction.
Stalls out of the box. Power play over for the Islanders. The only 2 shots during that power play for the Islanders came off the stick of Florida Panthers, as this is icing against Florida. Well, game number 2 for the Islanders is Saturday night right here on MSGSN. The Isles take on the Anaheim Ducks. Live coverage begins at 7 with the Islanders pregame show, followed by puck drop at 7:30 Saturday night on MSGSN, or stream it on MSG Go. And a 4-game homestand for the Islanders to start the season. The Ducks, and they've got the San Jose Sharks coming in on Tuesday. It's back-to-back icings against Florida, as they're trying to get a change that the linesman won't let them. Josh Mahura tried to get on the ice, and instead he is sent back off, and Gustav Forsling will take a spot.
Now Schnostakov, number 41, Brendan, playing on the Cizikas checking line, if you will. Ask Casey if the new coach, that would help his game or not. And he said, absolutely. He said, want to spend as much time in the offensive zone as I can. So with aggressive nature of the D, it should happen.
Linesman waved off this icing.
Now,
and then the other linesman is whistling a high stick. A little bit of confusion here, yeah.
That's their first game. They've got to get their...
The linesman is explaining to both coaches that it was a high stick that they called before the icing, so it will come all the way back down into the Florida zone.
It will allow them to make a change, though. That's the difference. The faceoff may be in the same spot, but if it's an icing or a high stick, that determines whether or not Florida can make this change. They're letting him make this change.
Thus far, yep. Rather have the icing, right, Brendan?
Referees tonight are Gord Dwyer and Michael Markovich. The linesmen C.J. Murray, Steve Barton. They want to make sure they're correct here, and they're having a long conversation first about the call, then about where the faceoff will be, and it looks like, I mean, this is the reversal, right? If you're dropping this puck at center ice, that means they've changed their mind from whatever the original call was. It's an apology, and we're just going to drop it at center.
But they are also allowing the change that the Florida Panthers were looking for, unless they force them to get that's the big concern right here. Do they have the tired guys out there, who, by the way, during this whole stoppage got a rest anyway?
Yeah, it didn't matter. Or the other answer would have been they don't know. Let's go to center ice. Then we're never wrong.
Everybody's happy. Robin Salo dumps it in. There was one spot up for grabs on the defense in training camp for the Islanders. Robin Salo, the one who breaks camp with the team and winds up on the opening night lineup. Playing alongside Scott Mayfield. Here's Pajot to the net, and he shot it off the outside of it. Trying to go upstairs.
Yeah, tried to go in the toy department there. There was a little room, but not a whole lot.
Now it's carried in by Montour. Kick to the far side. That shot by Cousins was blocked. Mayfield gets tangled up. Salo involved with Lomberg. And Ryan Lomberg goes batting after it. Gets a piece of Josh Bailey and then moved around for Mayfield.
Good support in the corner for Salo. Josh Bailey down low is able to retrieve the puck.
Both teams making changes here as Josh Mahura, a waiver claim right at the tail end of training camp from the Anaheim Ducks, making his Panthers debut tonight. It's one of those days where you send him on waivers hoping he gets through because there's so many guys on waivers. He didn't make it through as this is offside. And Josh Mahura goes from Anaheim to Florida right in to the opening night lineup. We've played half a period and we are scoreless here at UBS Arena. Detroit, John McLean from San Jose to be the new two assistant coaches for the Islanders.
A good combination, really, when you think about it. Doug Huda, a defenseman. That guy there, an offensive forward. So you got a blend of two different scenarios, and then Lane Lambert is the guy that's got to tame both of these guys.
Doug Huda, who spent the last 6 years in Detroit under Jeff Blashill, also spent part of his career in Detroit where he was teammates with a very young Lane Lambert.
Lasting relationship, I guess.
There's another guy in that group by the name of Gerard Gallant. He was roommates with Lane Lambert at one point. Here's Zach Parise with a shot on goal. It's gloved and held by Bobrovsky as the shot's now 9-5 in favor of the Islanders. But Butch, it still looks like the early part of a season, that feeling out process, trying to get into that flow.
And it's not easy when you open up against the Florida Panthers, who, as we talked about, #1 in the league last year as far as points, the President Cup winners. So it's a pretty good test right off the bat for the Islanders. But as you mentioned, both teams being very, very careful. Paul Maurice, obviously, very much a defensive-minded coach, and as Lane Lambert is, but both of them are trying to add, well, not in the Florida's case, more defense, and the Islanders are trying to add a little offense.
Josh Bailey with a blast that was stopped by Bobrovsky, and Pajot couldn't grab that rebound. Bellows knocked over Losterinen.
And he looked at the ref. that's you shouldn't do that. That's a giveaway.
Thompson moves it away, and Pajot will skate up with it. Flips a pass on through. Bailey from center ice trying to twist it towards Kiefer Bellows, and this one knocked in by Losterinen. Kiefer Bellows getting a chance in the opening night lineup. Oliver Wahlstrom was having himself a strong camp, injured during training camp, missed the last couple of preseason games, and allowed Kiefer Bellows to impress the coaches enough to keep him in the lineup here tonight. Driving through is Barkov. He threw it on net, and Sorokin was ready for it.
A really good, powerful move. Barkov, one of the best two-way centers in the league, a real superstar for the Florida Panthers, and one of the best centers in the league.
Career high 39 goals last year for Sasha Barkov. This one deflected to Beauvillier, turned in front. It was in the skates of Gudas. Lee trying to keep it alive. It came out for Barkov, and he skates it out of the zone.
Great defensive play for Gudas, as he's able to fall down right away and cover up the opportunity for Anders Lee to throw that into the empty net.
Brock Nelson had a good chance there to set up Bo on a Beauvillier going down the ice. He just couldn't get the puck out of his skates along the boards.
Pelech and Pulock calming things down. Islanders switching their forward lineup out. Gets Zizekas, Martin, and Soshnikov out there. Cal Clutterbuck unable to play here tonight, as this is deflected in. Clutterbuck who had off-season shoulder surgery. Matt Martin comes in and knocks down Patrick Hornquist, and this is lifted out of play. Deflected is the question, and the referees want a consultation. Who had the best look at it?
Casey had the best look at it. He got his arm up right away, trying to help out the refs with the call, but apparently he's not going to win that battle.
They say it was deflected, so there is no penalty. Face-off will be in the Panthers zone.
Earlier, Josh Bailey had an opportunity, a good shot that nobody was able to corral the rebound. It comes to him off angle here. Good quick shot. You can see how he gets all behind it, gets his knee down. He's one of the players that I'm looking at this season to create some offense.
And there's the play. Good move by Gudas. Anthony Beauvillier had Anders Lee out in the front area. This is a line I think is going to be interesting to watch all year, with Anthony playing on the right side, which he enjoys playing. It's going to give him a few more offensive opportunities because he's going to be on that forehand with a much better angle to shoot the puck, Brendan.
This one covered up by Sorokin. You think back to the Islanders season a year ago, and where they ran into trouble was the early part of the season. Was it COVID? Was it the road trip? Was it just the culmination of having so many guys off to slow starts? You look at the start that Josh Bailey had. You look at the start that Parise had, the start that Kyle Palmieri had. You can't have everybody start slow. That was their big problem last year. There's a lot of guys with a lot of pressure to go off to good starts this year.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I've talked to a few of them over the last few days at practice, and then they recognize it, and they didn't really have any rational reason. And one of the reasons I thought it was, Brendan, is that no one was able to help them because they were all struggling, trying to find their own game.
Forsling's shot never made it to the net. And it's grabbed and carried ahead by Reinhart. Now it's Forsling slipping in below the goal line. Centering feed blocked by Salo. And now Tkachuk spins on Mayfield. Bennett looking to center. Take it off his stick by Salo. Bennett trying it again, looking for somewhere to go with it. Salo will pressure him. Move to Tkachuk, fires from the wall, blocked by Zizekas. Tkachuk up with it again. Forsling for Ekblad. Ekblad's shot, that one off a body in front, and it's Balster's one-handed as he's diving to the ice trying to center that puck. As the Islanders trapped in their zone. Mayfield a chance to get it out off the glass, off the glove of Matt Martin, and it winds up deflecting into the bench, and then Tkachuk bumped into Matt Martin, and you can see the result. Well, Matthew Tkachuk, he's a pest out there. That's what he does. It's part of his game. It's one of the reasons why he's so effective.
He's a real agitator. He's a good player, a gifted player, but a little agitation. He's going to get under people's skin, and going to have to. There's a bump, and then there's no question what he was trying to do there, yeah. Right? He's just trying to agitate a little bit, and the referees allow him to do that, and then let's see if he wants to stand up and fight. Nope, going to bail out. So that's you're right, Brendan. I mean, yeah, here, let me give you a little push, and then let the referees and the players get in my way. One of the areas the Islanders want to watch this in front of the net right here. Look at the blocking out by the Islanders, and that's something that Lane Lambert has worked incessantly on over the last 5 days, Brendan, is when that puck goes to the point, you need to block out.
Well, AJ's going to have to turn a microphone off here. Otherwise, we might pick up a few things that will bring us a fine from the FCC.
Get in between him, AJ. What are you doing? Get in front of him.
I got my mic on mute here, but you can't ask me any questions.
Matt Martin and Matthew Tkachuk having a few words right across AJ.
Planning their dinner plans.
Yeah, exactly. So it winds up kicking into the seats beyond the bench of the Panthers. And the conversation continues. And, well, Ryan Lomberg, it looks like, has continued the conversation instead of Matthew Tkachuk. Lomberg is more likely to drop the gloves, although he's not the biggest guy in the world. He's no stranger to fighting. I fought Ross Johnston a few years ago when he was in Calgary.
Well, you certainly don't want Tkachuk in the penalty box and spending 5 or 10 minutes. I mean, he's you're paying him a lot of money to perform on the ice, not to sit there and gab and spend time in the penalty box.
Matthew Tkachuk, 104 points with the Calgary Flames last year. As Alex Romanov looks for a way out, the puck poked off his stick and then skating into it, Mahura. Josh Mahura's shot, save made. It's underneath Sorokin, He gets the whistle, and then Romanov was making sure nobody got to the net. Colin White was driving, and Romanov just lowered the shoulder on him to make sure he wasn't going to get on through. Now Alex Romanov, he's going to endear himself to Islander fans real quick, protecting his goaltender here on this play, just making sure nothing happens. And he's a goal scorer. He has been. He's been a consistent goal scorer throughout his career, but last year he found another level. He was a 20-goal scorer consistently, hit 19 in 17-18, then found it again, a shortened season in 2021, and then last year exploded for 37 goals.
Yeah, and just said he had a lot of confidence, and he was trying to get into the scoring area a little bit more. Obviously, he's got a lot of motivation this year to repeat it, but the big thing, Brendan, read and react. That's what he said. I don't want to think about it. I just want to react and get myself in the right spot.
Carter Verhaeghe takes that one, a shot into the skates of Pajot. He'll play it off the boards. Kiefer Bellows will make sure it gets out of the zone. Tries to get around Montour and get on it again. He spills Montour down to the ice. Delayed offside here, but the puck sent ahead for Barkov. Ryan Pollock close to him, and this one deflects into the seats. And there really just hasn't been a rhythm in this hockey game yet.
No, and credit both teams' defense. I mean, they're not giving anybody a lot of room in the neutral zone, and so they're playing a lot of chip and chase type style of hockey. Well, it makes for a very difficult game. And talk to the coach about this. Playing 3-on-3 hockey. He said we don't want to play 3-on-3 hockey. We want to have four-man rushes, 5-man rushes. We want our guys up the ice to create some offense, to create some late 3-on-2s and such.
That was the 26th face-off of this first period so far. Just to give you an idea of how many whistles we've had in the first 15 minutes of this season. Adam Pelech around the boards. Kept in by Ekblad momentarily. Pelech, an all-star last year, sent this one deep. Palmieri on his horse, got there, left it for Matt Barzal. Barzal with a quick turn on Bennett. Hits Parisi, rolling puck at the side of the net, and Bobrovsky's got the glove down on top of it. And Matt Tkachuk trying to stir things up with Zach Parisi, who looks disinterested in the entire altercation.
Knows his act's not going to fool me. But watch how quick everything's happening out there. Tkachuk takes out Palmieri, and then Barzal does his quick turning, able to get the puck towards the net, and Palmieri that's where he's been. Talk to Palmieri about this year, and what did he learn from playing with Barzal last year? And said, I watched some tapes, I watched his style, and in the exhibition game, Brendan, I saw Palmieri hanging around the slot area a little bit more than he had last year. Plus, why not? Someone gives you the puck in that high-scoring area, right?
Here is Palmieri right out in front as he's falling to the side of the net, and Parisi can't jam it in. Colin White, a quick turn behind the net. Ekblad mishandled, skated into though by Anton Lundell, who had a strong rookie season, 18 goals for Lundell. Mayfield with the poke check on Lostarinen. And now it's Mahura from a sharp angle, blocked by Salo. Josh Mahura fanned on that one. It pops in the air. Parisi trying to glove it down. He's able to swat it to safety. Inside 4.5 to go here in the first period. Scoreless hockey game between the Islanders and the Panthers. Shots 13-10 in favor of New York. Salo gets it away from a dangerous area. Matt Martin starts it ahead for Nikita Soshnikov. But the last few seasons playing in the KHL over in Russia, he does have some NHL experience as Soshnikov, but he hasn't played in the NHL since the 18-19 season.
He's got to make sure, Brendan, along that blue line, you got to get that puck in deep.
Matt Martin rattles the glass with the body of Mahura. And Soshnikov broke his stick, heads to the bench. Matt Martin trying to get a piece of Radko Gudas. Here's Cousins. Came over as a free agent from Nashville. Cizikas forced a bad pass. It's grabbed by Beauvillier. Anthony Beauvillier taking the tour. Hands out for Romanov. Tip just wide of the net by Dobson, who had crept in. Then Bobrovsky trying to cover the puck. Got clipped by Cizikas, and everybody finding a partner. The puck was alive. Cizikas inadvertently made contact with Bobrovsky, but intent or not, he touched the goaltender. There's going to be repercussions.
This play started. You got Beauvillier jumps on the ice, fresh legs, and he comes out flying, gets a puck, gets that errant pass. Good look here by Romanov, and just goes off the skate, just misses wide, but a really good heads-up play by Romanov. We've talked a lot about Lane Lambert engaging the D, and that's one of the things, passing, looking for those passing lanes, trying to create offense that way, of course, leads to that scrum afterwards, which we're seeing more and more, and I think the temperature will continue to rise as this game progresses.
Well, you see Casey Cizikas running to the goaltender, but the goalie was out of his crease, and Casey was just going behind the net, so that started the whole ball of wax rolling.
And there are penalties, but not to Cizikas. It's to Nick Cousins for the Panthers and Matt Martin for the Islanders.
Well,
4-on-4.
Referee's way, I think, of trying to get this game under control a little bit. As you mentioned, Brendan, starting to heat up pretty well.
It's not the first time we've had all 10 guys on the ice get together. And that one a little too hot to handle at the Islander line, and so Pelech and Pulock come back into their own end.
Pretty much always have Ryan Lomberg or Matthew Tkachuk right to my left, staying right here, jawing and eyeballing the Islanders bench, so they're certainly trying to stir it up.
Adam Pelech in deep. Nice pass out for Beauvillier. Beauvillier to Pulock. Not in a shooting area, so he'll dip it behind for Brock Nelson here during 4-on-4. To the slot, Beauvillier weaves his way out high and will maintain possession as he takes it out of the zone and then quickly turns his attention back towards Bobrovsky. Panthers getting a change. Islanders will now as well, as Matt Barzal tries to step on through Stahl, and he got knocked over. And Tkachuk picks it up. Palmieri and Barzal, this pass inadvertently goes to the goalie Bobrovsky. And Ekblad to Bennett. And Aaron Ekblad. His pass blocked down by Palmieri. Puck picked up. Here's Barzal. Matt Barzal cutting in, cutting back, shoots, and a save made by Bobrovsky as Barzal got popped by Forsling as he let that shot go.
Matt did the smart thing. He got his puck back on his forehand, a little stutter step on the turnover. Barzal watching the replay, but
right there.
Yeah,
watch this. He juggles the puck. Sorry, Butch. I had a good look at it right where I was standing. Really good puck control. I know we know that about Barzal. It's still amazing when you see it in person, the way you could juggle that stop, start, and then get a great shot off.
Yeah, we saw almost that exact play the other night against the Rangers, only he had a little more time and a bigger opening, and he went right upstairs with the puck. The only thing he could do was go 5-hole.
So still 4-on-4 for just under a minute. Here's Dobson. Winds, shoots, and that one right into the chest of Bobrovsky.
That's about the easiest save he's had all night. He just got outside right on the top of the crease, and he's a big guy. Dobson took a good hard look at it. Cross-ice pass, and not going to beat the NHL goaltenders from there. Big goaltenders, you got to get them moving, and he had his feet set, Brendan, and able to line himself up in a direct line.
Off the face-off, here's Dobson. Dobson continues around, wraps it in front. Pajot couldn't find the handle, but Bobrovsky couldn't find that puck either. Here's Romanov with a shot into the glove of Bobrovsky. Dobson created the scoring chance. Pajot almost found the first goal of the night.
Yeah, it looked like maybe the defenseman Forsling or Ekblad got his stick on it. Another win. That's one thing about Pajot. He can win, and the Dauber keeps those feet moving, protects the puck, and gets it right out in front. There's a little stick by Ekblad, I think, just interfered enough with Pajot right under the paddle of the goaltender. That would have been a glorious opportunity, but good defensive play, I think, by Ekblad.
Pelech gets tangled up there. Nelson's pass to Beauvillier broken up. Here's Barkov with a full head of steam. Watched closely by Pulock. Barkov to drop. Montour stripped from behind by Brock Nelson. And he rockets a pass over towards Beauvillier, who handles it. Pulock up on the rush. The puck is there. Pulock to the backhand. Stopped by Bobrovsky. Nice job. Good recognition by Ryan Pulock to jump up on that play. That made a nice move to the backhand.
Yeah, that'll make the coaches happy. That's what they've been emphasizing all training camp, Brendan. The jumping up and giving yourself an opportunity.
Cousins and Martin released. It's back to 5-on-5 as we approach the final minute of the period. Matt Martin helps it out of the zone. Ekblad. Stolen by Martin. Put it to the middle of the ice, but Bennett skates into it. Bennett kicks it to Tkachuk. Tkachuk Stripped to the puck by Salo. Bennett to Bolsters. Mayfield and Bennett tangled up behind the net. Forsling fumbled with it. Ekblad shot blocked by Martin out of the zone inside of a minute to go. Aaron Ekblad's pass to the wrong team. Salo just gave it back to him. Bolsters lost it. Pajot right in front of the penalty boxes. Forced down. Bellows in pursuit, but it's Forsling. He got hit hard by Pajot, and Forsling gets up limping.
For a little guy, he doesn't mind laying on the body.
No, he does not. Half a minute to go. Forsling just now getting off the ice as Bellows carries in. Pajot came back to him. Pajot over for Romanov. 19 seconds. Dobson shot knocked down. Rebound pushed wide by Bailey. Comes out high again. Romanov, Dobson, quick pass across, and Pajot's shot came off the heel of his stick. 7 seconds left. Josh Bailey looking. 4 seconds. Bailey couldn't get it away. Dobson gets involved, but this period comes to a close with the Islanders with as much pressure as they had all period there in the closing minutes.
Yeah, it looked like they found their legs, found their rhythm, able to create a few opportunities, but again, quick speed up the ice. Front of the net, take a little look. You see Bellows out in front. There's the Dauber with a good shot on net and blocked. A lot of blocking in front. Boy, it's tough yardage. And there's the good hard hit by Pajot on Forsling.
Yeah, and that chance that we talked about with Ryan Pulock starts with this incredible back check by Brock Nelson. We just talked about him being a goal scorer, but that defensive play sets up this incredible offensive play by Ryan Pulock. Jumps in the play, good collection off his stick, under pressure, goes to his backhand, just can't elevate it enough on that blocker side, but a great play all around.
Coming up, it's the first intermission report. It's brought to you by your local Honda dealer. Shannon will chat with J.G. Pajot. A.J. Malesko will join her on the desk to break down this first period of play. How about this? Only one time all last year, the Islanders had 18 first period shots. Opening night, 18 first period shots for the Islanders, 9 for the Florida Panthers. It adds up, though, to a scoreless tie after 20 minutes here on Long Island.
You know, everybody just expects him to get more done than he has, and he hasn't been as good a goal scorer. And I know everybody on Twitter has been all over my butt, Brendan, when I keep saying that this guy's going to break out and score a whole bunch of goals. And hopefully on the right side, maybe that'll give him a few more opportunities.
Scored just 12 goals last season, did Beauvillier. He had 15 in just 47 games during that shortened 2021 season. But he still starts, as we've talked about, in a great spot to break out with Lee and with Brock Nelson.
Yeah, absolutely. And those are two guys that are playing with an awful lot of confidence. And
here is Nelson. Slips a pass on to the back. Adam Pellick's shot off of Bobrovsky. Islanders 18 first period shots as Nelson went to center that puck. There's a loose stick on the ice. It was Ekblad, so he goes to retrieve as Pulock snaps one into the glove of Bobrovsky with Anders Lee trying to take away the eyes of the Panther netminder.
Well, Nelson really on his toes and able to get into the offensive zone, pick up some loose pucks and get it back to his D, and then you can just see everybody just heads towards the front of the net, and Bo's there, and Anders Lee just finds the hole. Did he get a part of that, Brendan? Anyway, Bo makes a nice save there on a pretty good screenshot.
Off the draw, Dobson slipped it to Paul Mary, and the pass was in his skates, couldn't do much with it. And now it's Bolsters the other way. Only Dobson back. Bolsters finds Montour, and he fired wide.
Great back check there by Paul Mary. Bennett was flying for the net there.
Bolsters. Barzell able to work it free for Noah Dobson. Dobson gets to the red line, dumps it in. Parisi in pursuit. Got there along with Stahl. The veterans tie up. Puck rolled free. This one shot back to the boards. Matthew Tkachuk begins his path up ice. Cut off by Paul Mary, and he'll double back. Islanders will get part of the change while they can. Long change, second period. Tkachuk dumped it down. Alex Romanov smacked it around the boards. Luostarinen was there. And now Luostarinen cut off by Dobson. Bailey. Dobson stripped. Here's a chance for Mahura as he spins it wide of the net. Picked up Anton Lundell. Center of the ice. Radko Gudas shot knocked down in front. And it's Tkachuk who's down along the ice. Some discomfort as the shot deflects away from the net. Kachuk appears okay, gets up, puts it past Lostarena. That one off a skate in front to the boards. Radko Gudas up with it. Gudas takes a look, works it high, gets it back. Juggled it, and Josh Bailey just pokes it out of the zone.
A good strong defensive shift for the Islanders and some toughness in front of the net. As you mentioned, Kachuk went down pretty hard.
They're talking to him on the bench. The athletic trainer is talking to him on the bench. Kachuk, that is. Islanders deep pair have been out there for a minute and a half. Finally able to get that change. Thompson and Romanov trapped out there. Now Pelech and Pulock. As Martin, Cizikas, and Soshnikov get another shift. Their first of the period here, 2.5 minutes in. Adam Pelech fires a pass off the stick of Martin. Stahl after it, Martin after him. Along the boards, it's Hornquist. Excuse me, that was Reinhart who had to take it off his stick by Cizikas. Salo to Martin. Islanders back in on the attack. Bobrovsky. Nice pass to the boards. This one had a little too much air underneath him from Montour, and Salo will shove it back in. Nelson can't come over. Salo pinching. Lomberg just threw a blind pass through to the far boards. Sent to Reinhart. Salo stepped up. Puck got by him. Mayfield came over. That one's held in the zone. Reinhart for Cousins. Penalty upcoming here against the Islanders. Reinhart got taken out of the play. The tip there by Nelson. They'll say that's enough to call possession and get the whistle on a tripping call going against Robin Salo.
Yeah, Salo feeling a lot more comfortable this year, Brendan, at training camp, knowing the guys and understanding the systems and size of the rink, and just getting used to North America, right? I mean, there was a big adjustment for him, and there's the quick little pass, little cross-checking behind by Salo on Reinhart as he was going to the net.
They just got the stick in the skates. And they called the trip, and so Salo will sit for 2. If somebody can bring him a birthday cake to the penalty box, he can celebrate his 24th birthday in there.
Boy, it seems like he's been around a long time, doesn't it? I mean, Reinhart.
Reinhart certainly has. This is his 8th NHL season. There's a tap in front for Reinhart. They batted up in the air, rolled on behind Sorokin, and stayed out.
How did that stay out?
That looked like it was going in the net, didn't it?
It sure did. It had some backspin on it.
Well, that had to be the way it stayed out, because it fluttered right over the pad of Sorokin, and there was nobody there to stop it. And somehow, the physics of it came up without going across the line.
Islanders didn't do a good job in that slot area. The puck went goal line back into the slot, and Reinhart with a great opportunity.
J.G. Pajot might have helped that puck stay out of the net. He had a stick in there as this long clear will get the Islanders part of a change. At least Pelech was able to get off. A couple of saves here for Sorokin on this power play for the Panthers. Kachuk for Ekblad. Ekblad pumps, then shoots. It was blocked by Romanov. Cizikas was able to keep it from Hornquist in front of the net. And the rolling puck covered up by Sorokin. And Hornquist just gets up and charges to the net. Kachuk takes a whack at Mayfield. There's a little bit of animosity between these two teams that have only been a period into the season.
Haven't we seen that guy complain for about 10 years between Pittsburgh and Florida?
15 years.
Let's take another look at this. Bouncing puck, and it's going to get past Sorokin and just right across, and Pajot kind of just tries to whack it to the corner, but I think he gets the puck and it goes off the goalpost, I believe. There it goes right there. So he was trying to get in the corner, didn't have much of an angle. So good alert play by Pajot.
Halfway through the power play for the Panthers, Pajot that time gets to that puck and clears it down.
Hey, he won the faceoff too, and boy, he's such a great penalty killer, because it starts with the faceoff, and when you have a guy that's winning, 70% of those draws in the own zone, it gives you an excellent chance to become a real good penalty killing team.
Panthers power play was north of 24% last year. They lost Huberdeau, who had 38 power play points last year, was the main distributor on the power play. They do bring in Matthew Kachuk as Bailey dives and pokes this one out. Kachuk had 12 power play goals and 29 power play points for Calgary. Final 10 seconds before Salo is released. Hornquist, a hard hit from Romanov, and Bailey helps the puck out of the zone.
Well, they do a good job of clearing out. Only the one really good opportunity for the Florida Panthers.
Salo returns to play. 2 saves for Sorokin during that Panther power play. The Islanders PK 2-for-2. Backhanded to the net from Colin White and hung on to by the Islander netminder. Well, the Islanders have had to navigate through early penalties in each period. One on the opening shift of the first period and one in the opening 5 minutes here of the second.
Well, Sorokin has looked good, and it's his first game, and he wants to get off to a good start. I mean, sometimes we forget that the goaltenders play a major role in the outcome of games, and he's had the more difficult saves, I would suggest, Brendan, so far, and he's been solid.
Made 14 of them to this point in the game. As Dobson goes off the glass, but Ekblad able to keep it in with his skates. Dobson knocked it out of midair. And then Pelech off the glass, helped along by Anders Lee. No icing as Ekblad got to it in a hurry. Coming around for White. Colin White, free agent signing from Ottawa. It's going to be an interesting season, not only for the Florida Panthers players and coaching staff, but for their general manager, Bill Zito. Right now, the Islanders have 3 healthy scratches sitting in the press box, available to play if they were needed for tonight. The scratches for the Florida Panthers, they do not have any. They have 20 players on their roster. They're all playing in this game. Their salary cap situation is they really cannot afford at this point to have any extra players on the roster.
Yeah, that's a tough way to run a hockey team, and you know you're going to run into some sort of injury. So somewhere along the line, you have to think, well, the only way they're going to create cap space is to move someone.
Reinhart coming after. And Anthony Duclair, who is out injured, he's on long-term IR. He might not play all season. Torn Achilles. He suffered during off-season training, so they're not sure he's going to come back at all. As Reinhardt's shot is deflected out of play. But other than that, this is their roster. 7 minutes gone here in the second period. Islanders, Panthers still searching for that first goal.
Make every moment more by downloading the FanDuel app and firing on their live odds now.
Islanders and Panthers from UBS Arena in Elmont, New York. Brendan Burke, Butch Goring, AJ Malesko with you here tonight. Opening night, the 50th anniversary season for the New York Islanders. Coming off a 37-win campaign, 84 points last year. They finished in 9th, the first team outside the playoffs, but they were 16 points behind 8th place Washington. And so a lot of ground to make up for this year in what is going to be another tough go in the Metropolitan Division. Division didn't get any worse.
No, and you know, and a lot of people talk about the road trip, but the road trip really wasn't the tough part of the season for the Islanders. It was November where they had COVID, and a lot of guys were on the sidelines, and let's face it, they didn't ice a great hockey team.
Pass to Bennett in the skates, and a nice job by Pelech to drag the skate to keep it away. And now it's Pajot breaking ahead. J.G. Pajot couldn't get a lot on that shot.
They wanted to go 5-hole, and Bobrovsky was way out of the net.
Kachuk let one go, blocked by Pollock.
That's the one rule change I would make, Brendan, is you can't come off outside the crease. You can't go in the crease, so why should he be able to come out outside the crease? They're big goaltenders. There's nothing to shoot at.
Spoken like a true sniper.
Yes, absolutely. Give me a chance at least.
Here's Bellows. That one deflects away. And a hit delivered by Kiefer Bellows, and that one is Stahl feeling it a little bit. Rushing ahead, the backhand by Lundell, cleaned up by Dobson before any damage could be done as Colin White was coming in. Stahl, a stationary White at the blue line. Luosterainen changed directions. Thompson, Parisi defensively came out of that pileup. White whips it out high. Shot didn't have a lot on it. Hit Luosterainen. Just trying to hold it in the zone. Kyle Palmieri backhanded for Dobson. Dobson moves it, tries to jump up on the play, but the pass got stuck with Palmieri, or excuse me, with Parisi. Bobrovsky came out of his net, couldn't get it. That one banked off the outside. Palmieri to the backhand, brought it to the front. Parisi charging hard, can't direct it on net. Grabbed by Barzell, change of directions. Barzell has Mahura chasing. Barzal protecting the puck and finds a little space. Turns once again. Barzal trying to create, as he often does. Left it for Salo. They go back to him, but the puck rolled by him.
Yeah, Salo just needed to get in a little bit better position. Need a more aggressive sort of play by Salo. Find a hole because he knew Barzal was looking to move it to somebody.
Salo to Matt Martin. Soshnikov driving all the way across. Zizekas. Salo. Oh, it's fought up by Bobrovsky.
Good puck movement there by the Islanders, and that was a 4-on-3.
Salo's going back to the box.
Lundberg got the elbow right in the chin. Matt Martin comes in and says, "Hey,
got enough of this guy."
Yep.
Well, Ryan Lundberg got into a spot where he could draw a penalty. That's what he does. And Robin Salo is going right back to the penalty box. He was the one that was just released a few moments ago.
Well, Salo's got the good back check going. Watch the right elbow, so he kind of just gets it up in the air and trying to create an angle for him, Brendan, and inadvertently got it up a little bit more.
Well, here's that opportunity. You talked about the good puck movement, great transition, zone entry, and Salo jumps in the play, as we've been talking about the defense doing all night long. And also you look at Parisi. We talked about the players like Josh Bailey, had a slow start. How about Palmieri, Parisi? Those guys were a little snake bitten at the start of the year, and they're getting engaged, they're getting involved. We're only halfway through the first game of the season, but it's nice to see the opportunities that they're creating.
And Palmieri was talking about Barzal, and he said he is, without doubt, the most creative player in the National Hockey League, and creative because he's deking and diving. And so Palmieri said, I got to get myself on the open, and I know that he's got a half a second. He's going to give it to me.
Well, and these players want to play with the elite talent like a Matt Barzal, but Barzal, because of that unpredictability, because of that creativity, can be hard to play with. You got to be on your toes, you got to be looking, and you got to be ready to change your course and change what you're planning on doing at the drop of a hat.
Get in the open.
Here come the Panthers on the power play. Kachuk, second effort got through. It's covered up by Sorokin. Robin Salo, you talk about him being a little more comfortable. He's got 4 penalty minutes here in the second period on opening night. He had 4 penalty minutes in 21 NHL games last season.
Yeah, getting a lot more ice time, though, and worked hard and saw an opportunity. I mean, that's really, last year he knew that Green was here and Chara was here, and it was hard to get, I think, really motivated, knowing that you're the 7th guy at best. This year when he came to camp, he knew there was a legitimate spot open on this team to make the top 6, and took advantage of it. Said he worked hard in the offseason, got a little stronger, worked on his skating.
Off the face-off, the shot from Ekblad, tipped away. Salo made his NHL debut the very first game here at UBS Arena last season, which wasn't until the middle of November. Halfway through the hockey game, still no score. Power play for another 1:10 for Florida. Aaron Ekblad forced it behind the net. Mayfield trying to clear. It was kept in by Kachuk, and his pass across to Flex, and Brock Nelson be the first one on it. But everybody coming back for the Panthers, going to make Nelson just pin it behind the net.
But you were talking about being on the power play and not back checking. Matthew Kachuk was waving desperately to Bobrovsky to pass the puck up to him because he knew the Islanders were trying to change. He's at the far blue line gesturing like a madman.
Barkov, back door, and that one wouldn't fly for Montour. Handcuffed himself. Barkov tried to feed it to him again. Soshnikov harassing the captain of the Panthers. Kachuk and Barkov playing catch. Barkov, Kachuk in front. Reinhart fired wide.
Well, that's the second time they've been able to get that pass in there. Quick puck movement from the slot area down low and then out in the low slot.
Zizekas and Soshnikov on the rush, shorthanded. Zizekas, the backhand, save Bobrovsky in the full split as the pass got through for Nikita Soshnikov.
A nice play by Zizekas to get to his backhand. And unfortunately, that pass in so tight, Brendan, there was no place to go.
Salo out of the box. And the Islanders a little bit of offense as they're killing the penalty, although the Panthers had some pretty good chances too. This is an icing call against Florida. They've got Barkov, who's been out there for 2 minutes and 10 seconds, and he's going to have to stay on the ice.
A good play by Zizekas along the boards as he knocks it, steals the puck again. And watch Stochnikov, he's going to go to the net and see how deep he was, but what a save by Bobrovsky. He's got the big long legs, the flippers were out. Nice backhand pass there, gave the young Islander player an opportunity.
Both goalies have been good these last few minutes too, just in terms of their reads and their post-to-post movement.
They're in such good shape, and they're like Gumbies. I mean, they can stretch like you can't believe.
Islanders couldn't capitalize on keeping a couple of tired Panthers on the ice. They were able to get off as Barzal, his pass was stolen away by Balsters.
Great anticipation by Balsters.
And then he turned it over off the skate of Barzal. Parisi pokes it in. He's got Palmieri with him. Parisi driving Palmieri to the net. The trailer Barzal steps, drags, and holds onto it, bringing it around the net. Dobson came in and couldn't get the shot away as he took a hit from Radko Gudas.
Like Dobson saw Gudas there.
Yeah, well, Gudas had him lined up, and
Barzal brings it in offside as Parisi is trying to jump onto the bench before Barzal carried it back in the zone. 7.5 to go. Islanders, Panthers scoreless. Islanders and Panthers 7.5 to go here in the second. We are scoreless. Here's the Islanders' upcoming schedule brought to you by FanDuel. As the Islanders have 3 more games on this homestand: Anaheim, then a couple of days off, San Jose and New Jersey before they hit the road and go down to Florida. They'll face the Tampa Bay Lightning, and then the very next day, these Florida Panthers once again. You can bet on all the Islander games at FanDuel Sportsbook. Check out the FanDuel app for the most up-to-date hockey betting lines. I just glossed over what was happening on the screen. I didn't know what else to do.
Waiting for you to describe that, Brendan. Come on.
I'm done.
It's a proposal here in the arena, and
you can keep your shirt on, though.
Well, but he had it. Do you see his chest was painted? It said, "Please say yes."
Oh, it deflected in. Radko Gudas just threw it to the net. Lostarina might have gotten a piece of it, and the Florida Panthers have found that elusive first goal.
Yeah, just got a part of it and deflected it bottom right-hand corner. Those harmless shots, you just never know. And the Islanders have an opportunity. They turn it over along the boards, and there's a quick shot, and it's deflected in the high slot on the backhand by Lustaren. Look at that, just past the outstep flipper. Didn't pick it up in time. It was deflected with a little bit of a couple of players initially.
And a bit of a change up too. That change in speed gets goalies. That's a tough one. And as you mentioned, Sorokin didn't pick it up. Tough one to go first goal of the game.
Well, he's had Lostarina scored 9 goals last season, and he's got the first one of the season for the Florida Panthers.
Well, to put a bow on that, the woman did say yes, yes, yes to the proposal, but I'm not sure that it's the happiest moment since their team just went down by 1 right after he proposed.
I'm just wondering, do you think that was how she dreamt it up when she was a little girl?
I doubt it. Not with "please say yes" on
no,
on
it said "please say yes, yes, yes." So there was a little play on the Islanders, but yeah, it was interesting.
Took her a long time. She was thinking.
She's still thinking about it, I'll tell you why.
Now the Islanders find themselves down a goal, and see if they can find themselves with one themselves before too long.
They had the momentum, but now it's the lead for the Panthers, and they're coming right back in. The pass across, and Barkov couldn't get the backhand away. Centering feed directed to Anders Lee, and he goes up and off the glass, and this one off the glove of Forsling. Beauvillier will hurry it on. Nelson one-on-one against Ekblad. Nelson can't do anything with it against one of the better defenders in the game, in Aaron Ekblad.
Yeah, he just didn't give him any time or space. He just stayed right on his heels and forced Nelson to basically turn the puck over.
Bobrovsky out to handle. Stahl tried to stretch a pass on. Cizikas knocked it down. And now Tkachuk. Montour just got it through as Soshnikov almost stole it. Now it's Bennett slipping behind Dobson and centered it for Tkachuk, and it went on through.
Looked offside to me, Brendan. Looked like he was already inside before that puck ever crossed.
Stahl behind the net. Tkachuk turned it in a hurry. This one is Balsters turning and shooting, hitting the apron. And then Dobson chopping at it. Stahl kept it in. Cizikas kicks at it, helped along by Soshnikov. Martin and Montour came together. And then Soshnikov works it through a couple of Panthers players and deep into the zone. No icing here. Martin throws the hit. Palmieri's pass intended for Barzal never got there. Salo having to retreat with Hornquist over it. Patrick Hornquist. Mayfield came over, threw a hit on Lomberg. Matt Barzal backhanded up in the air, glove down by Nick Cousins, and now Barzal starts it ahead. Barzal's backhand redirected. Palmieri will set up Barzal once more. Barzal bumped, wrapped up with Ekblad. He gets taken down by Ekblad. Parisi takes the puck. Mayfield with Ekblad and Barzal still connected. And the puck now through center.
Barzal had his stick in his hand the whole time. Looked like Ekblad was holding him up. Not so. Barzal had his stick, looking to maybe just jump away if he had the opportunity. Ekblad's been out almost every shift that Barzal's been out there, though, Brendan.
As you might expect.
Yes.
Now, coaches are not nearly as concerned these days with matching lines, more than having the right D pair out against that line, as this one jumps into the front row. As Lane Lambert's team playing from behind. 1-0 Panthers here. 4:16 to go in the second.
When you're getting drafted, you're 18 years old. You know, my mindset back then was just straight offense. But I think my all-around game has really improved. My my physicality, my defensive zone especially. I just think my all-around game has really been elevated a lot, especially this year.
The 19th overall pick from 2016 signed a one-year deal in August, and here he is in the lineup on opening night.
Yeah, and he's 100% right. When you're a young kid like that and you're gifted offensively, the coaches don't expect you to be really good defensively. But unfortunately, when you're trying to get ice time in the National Hockey League, you've got to be good on both ends of the rink. Unless you happen to be a superstar who gets a little more leeway. But not very many guys have that ability, and good for Keeper Bellows to say, okay, I got to make adjustments to my game. I want to be an NHLer. Get the trust of a coach, Brendan, and you'll get more ice time. Simple as that.
Palmieri to Barzal in stride. Matt Barzal steps and shoots, and he just missed.
Oh, he wanted that top corner, didn't he? And didn't hesitate at all. Took a little look at Palmieri on the outside, but made the right decision. I mean, when you're in between the dots, you got to shoot the puck.
It's going to be interesting to see how Matt Barzal this season, whether he does that a little bit more. It looks like I'm going to cut the top of the crossbar there, but he is such a pass first. Oh no, went right over. He's such a pass first player. Everybody knows that. These guys are playing him as if he's going to pass. So if he can take that shot, he may catch opponents off guard. Get some scoring opportunities for himself.
And he should take it, AJ. It's a good scoring opportunity. I don't care if you're a passer. When you're on your forehand, particularly, and you're at the hash marks, I mean, no one else is going to get a better shot than you anyway.
Well, the whole idea of a pass, when I used to coach the kids, is pass to somebody who's got a better scoring chance. If you've got the scoring chance, you better take that shot.
Absolutely.
Ryan Pulock throws the hit on Barkov as this is tapped around in front. Reinhart got it on net. It rolled off the blocker of Sorokin. Islanders able to collapse down on it and clear it away. This is the Islander matchup defensively that they want, and Pelech and Pulock out against Barkov and company. But it's Pajot, Soshnikov, and Bailey with a shift here.
They got to hold that blue line a little bit better. Coach and staff won't like that. Too much time and space for this line.
Pass out for Gudis. His shot gloved and held by Sorokin.
Little wrist shot, and Gudis not trying to score from where he was. He was just trying to get it towards the net, look for a deflection or a rebound.
Inside of 3 minutes to play here in the period, just one goal on the board. It belongs to Esto Luosterainen from Ratko Gudis and Colin White. That was at the 12:45 mark. Islanders, who had 16 shots, they adjusted the shots in the first period down to 16 shots on goal, have just 5 here so far in the second, and that one swatted away from the crease before Anders Lee could get on it. And now it's almost a 2-on-0, and back-checking Beauvillier breaks it up.
Never too late to come back, and Panthers thought they had an easy play towards the net.
You can tell it's a breakdown when only one guy's able to get back, and it wasn't a defenseman. It was Anthony Beauvillier.
Just kept coming, and that's one thing they've been doing in practice, Brendan, is they've been practicing coming back hard. Nobody lollygagging on the way back, and paid some huge dividends on that play.
Balsters had it bounce back to him. Balsters to the net, kicked away by Sorokin. He scrambles and gets back to his feet as the puck played behind the net. Balsters taken down by Romanov. Islanders, all 5 have been out there for more than a minute now. Romanov to Beauvillier.
Chip and change, Brendan.
That one sent around. Cizikas hustling after it. And now as the Panthers bring it back ahead, it's Hornquist lifting it to Lomberg. Thompson on him. Lomberg twisted it. Minute and a half to go. Penalty upcoming here against the Islanders. Montour winds and shoots. That one goes wide. It'll kick all the way out of the zone. Bobrovsky has made it to the bench, the extra attacker in the form of Barkov.
Now you probably want to stall as much as you can to start out the next period with a power play on a clean sheet of ice.
And they pass it on for Barkov. Matt Martin delivered a hit that had Nick Cousins slow to get up as this pass deflects to Martin, and he gets the touch. And it's a holding call against Adam Pelech. That will have the Panthers on a power play.
Wants to make sure the referee looks at him because he's not too thrilled with the call. Take a look down low and just see where they.
That was it.
This kind of got his stick wrapped around the midsection, looking for the. Well, good job by the Florida Panther. Just kept moving his feet and really created the opportunity.
So for the 4th time in the game, Florida Panthers on the man advantage. 0 for 3 so far. 5 of their 21 shots on goal have come on the power play. Montour's shot tipped in tight and still stopped and held by Sorokin.
Romanov just. Maybe he's talking to Tkachuk. Maybe you want to go? Can he fight, Brendan? Does he have a reputation for fighting?
No.
Or is he just physical?
He's just tough, rough and tough defenseman. He's not overly big. He's 6'1", but he's listed at a solid 215 pounds. As Mayfield had that puck and just gave it away.
Miscommunication there, that's for sure.
Mayfield, Romanov, Parisi, and Pajot. This one popped out for Romanov, and he will clear it the length of the ice. Inside 30 seconds remaining in the period. All power play time for the Panthers.
It's kind of like one good turn deserves another, right? One giveaway by the Islanders and then a giveaway by the Panthers. Reinhart gave it away.
Barkov with speed, connects a pass to Tkachuk. He drags, he waits, he shot it high. Got in tight, Ekblad, goal line. Tkachuk in front for Reinhart, turned aside by Sorokin. 5 seconds to go, Montour down, Barkov out high for Ekblad. Montour again lets it fly off the glass as the horn sounds and ends the period.
Well, the first period, the Islanders, I thought, finished off really strong. And in this second period, Brendan, I thought the Florida Panthers took over the latter part of the second period and come away with a 1-goal lead. But certainly the Islanders are up to the challenge, and now they're going to have to, as we say, win a period, win a game.
Coming up, it's the second intermission report. It's brought to you by your local Ford stores. Visit buyfordnow.com. Shannon Hogan, AJ Malesko take over when we come back. Shannon will be joined by Islander forward Kyle Palmieri here on opening night at UBS Arena. 1 goal on the board, a deflection by Eetu Luostarinen. That was at the 12:45 mark. That's it. That's all she wrote through 2 periods of play. 1-0 Cats. Raise everyone. Panthers 1, Islanders nothing. Almost time to start the 3rd period. Before we do, let's answer tonight's hashtag Cadillac trivia question. 50 years ago last night, Butchie, you made your Coliseum debut in a 3-2 Isles win over your LA Kings. We want to know who scored the winning goal for the Islanders with 69 seconds left to play.
Gagne.
Let's see. Wow.
He also played for Chicago, too.
Well, can you stump us? The experts tweet your own questions to hashtag Cadillac Trivia.
I knew it wasn't any of the Stars.
That would have been too easy. The second game in Islander history. Tonight is the first game of the 50th anniversary season. Islanders opening up at home with a 4-game homestand, welcoming in the President's Trophy winners from last year, the Florida Panthers, who not only won more games than anybody else in the National Hockey League, they scored more goals than any other team in the National Hockey League. 337 goals, more than any NHL team since the 95-96 season. And here we are in their opening game. The Islanders have held them to just one single goal.
Yeah, the Islanders have played very well on the defense, and this is the fourth power play for the Florida Panthers, and they had a very good power play last year. So the Islanders continue to play solid defense. Well, nothing's changed. I mean, Lane Lambert hasn't said we're not going to play defense. He just wants to add a little more offensive flair to his team, a little more aggressive play. That hasn't happened yet. Well, they've had chances. They just haven't scored yet.
Adam Pelech's the one in the box, which further complicates their penalty-killing efforts. As a clean sheet of ice for the Panthers to work with, and 45 seconds left on the power play. Matthew Tkachuk over for Aaron Ekblad. Ekblad drags to the middle. Far side Barkov. Barkov goal line, gets it back. Barkov to Montour. Barkov again. Goal line, return feed. Barkov to Montour. The slap pass broken up by Parisi. Ekblad in his skates. Mayfield trying to keep it there. Tkachuk able to find it, twist it around to Barkov. 12 seconds left on the penalty to Pelech. Matthew Tkachuk steps and shoots. That one blocked up and into the protective netting. And a stoppage in play. 7 seconds remaining on the penalty.
A really good job by the Islanders in their zone, and they were taking away that slot pass. They were allowing Barkov to handle it on the outside, but Romanov was really shadowing Reinhart in the middle of the ice. Watch when they get the puck into the low area. Watch as they move up and take away that. Good stick work there by Romanov. But earlier on, Brendan, they were really cheating in on Reinhart in the slot area. They gave up a couple opportunities last power play, so they made some adjustments in between periods.
Pelech's out of the box, but Alex Romanov here in his Islanders debut. 7 blocked shots through 2 periods of play. 7 blocks through 2 periods for Romanov. Here's Matt Barzal. Carries in, swatted off his stick by Forsling. And now taking Colin White, he'll shove it ahead.
Adam Pelech had a chance there to control the play, pass it, and keep control of it. It was a little bit of a sloppy giveaway just outside the offensive blue line.
And Barzal, instead of protecting it, AJ, on his backhand, he exposed it on his forehand.
Anders Lee trying to stretch Palmieri for a breakaway. And Radko Gudas got a piece of it. Pelech bounces it out to center. Eetu Luostarinen, the lone goal scorer in this game for the Panthers.
That one, I saw a replay on that one, Brendan, and it went off the shaft of his stick. It's not like it went off the blade, it went off the shaft. So that's what you call a lucky goal, but they all count the same.
Right now it's the difference in the hockey game. Stahl nearly gave it away. Bailey to Beauvillier and a penalty goal.
Boy, oh boy, that was a tap in. It was a really good try by Bailey to give it to Bo, and they couldn't separate enough to create a little space.
And Radko Gudas had something to do with it too.
Yeah.
He gets called for hooking.
And take another look at that as Stahl's pass is intercepted. Great read by Josh Bailey, and he wants to give it a Bo, but yeah, there's the hook right there by. I'm sure that was Gudas more Forsling that puts the hook on him. There's a hook right there, and that's a goal saver.
And so the Islanders power play, just their second power play of the game, goes to work in a pivotal point of this hockey game.
And this is where the Islanders have to be different this year. Struggled last year on the power play, but it's not necessarily how many you get, it's when you score them, and the Islanders need this power play to work. You want to have a good season, you want to score power play goals when you need them most, not when you're winning 4-0 or losing 4-0. When it's a one-goal game, that's when your power play has to work for you.
They got to have better puck control, too. I just saw Dobson have a bad giveaway that turned into an icing. They're all the way back in their defensive zone. Right after I was talking about Pelech and you were talking about Barzal, it's about puck management late in the game, too.
Brock Nelson won the face-off that gets them possession. And Nelson will slip it down the boards and try and get after it. He got clipped down by Montour.
That's a penalty. I'm sorry. That was a trip, and referees let that one go.
He made it 2 periods, Butch.
Yeah, I did. Well, you know, sometimes you have to make the obvious call. You don't want to, but that was a trip, and that allowed Florida to exit with the puck.
There's Barzal cruising. Couldn't get to the net, so peels off. Dobson to Nelson. Dobson shot, score! Noah Dobson on the power play ties the score.
Good entry for the Islanders. I don't think anybody deflected it. Palmieri was in the area, but it went up in the top of the net or the toy department. So the first goal, and seems like it's appropriate that Dobson scored because he scored in preseason and he had a big season. Barzal's able to carry this one in, controls it. Good edges, and then the Islanders go to work with the puck movement. Dobson all the way across, all the way around the horn, and there's Palmieri in the slot area. Back there to Dobson, and that's just a great shot by the Islander defenseman. Young defenseman, knows exactly where he wants to go. Looked like there was a couple of sticks in there trying to get a little deflection going. Well, we talked about the power play, didn't we, AJ?
We did, and I think Luostarinen, the defender there, might have gotten a stick on it. Second time he's deflected it, just one in each net tonight.
Do they count?
It's all even.
Yeah, well, it doesn't count the right way for him this time around. That was good. The zone entry, that's exactly what it was, and they want Matt Barzal to do that. Go in, be shifty.
Coughed up Lomberg off the glove of Sorokin. Wraparound try, and they score. Patrick Hornquist, the immediate answer. 30 seconds later, the Panthers have the lead back.
Yeah, that's a tough way to give up a goal right off the bat. You want to kind of generate some momentum. You've got the fans back in the game, and Florida Panthers go right to work. And Hornquist, one of the best around the league and for years. Quick shot, big save by Sorokin right there, and there's Hornquist, gets his own rebound, and fortunately for him, he's got a long reach and is able to stuff it by on the short side. You can see where Sorokin, long ways to his left, and I like to see him stay in a little tighter there, Brendan, but a good play by Hornquist, but not a good shift for the Islanders.
Well, that was a critical time, too. You said the momentum, but you play against a team like this, last year's President's Trophy winners, and a team that came from behind all season long. They were known as the comeback Cats, so you know that they're going to dig out of a hole, and they've got to be much more focused. The Islanders, that is.
So the Islanders still have work to do as Bobrovsky comes out, couldn't play it. Palmieri lifts a pass towards Dobson to the nets. Kicked away by Bobrovsky with Parisi and Stahl engaged just outside the crease. Maybe inside the crease. Comes to Montour. Balsers off his stick. It came to Tkachuk momentarily. Then fed to Montour. Glove down. Tkachuk. Montour again with lots of room, and that one stuck to the pad of Sorokin.
Well, we'll take another look at the goal. Not on that man there, Sorokin, but Dobson, and we wondered if maybe anybody got a stick in it because they're all waving him. And it just goes up off the bar, and so that's the toy department, Brendan.
AJ, I think you're right. Luostarinen
might have went off his stick.
Went off the shaft of the stick as soon as it came off the stick of Dobson.
Yeah, it changed a little change of direction and change of speed too, and that's tough for a goaltender to pick up, especially coming off a defenseman or defender rather.
Goal separated by 30 seconds. Dobson and Hornquist. So the Islanders go back to work after they spent the whole game looking for that first one. Here's Beauvillier. Curls to the outside. Pollock with the blast. 97 miles per hour. And then Pelech with the follow-up try is Lee and Forsling getting into it. And the linesman will intervene. Beauvillier and Ekblad. A pretty good battle as well.
Well, Ryan Pollock's got to hit the net. I know you're trying to get it past the onrushing checker to make sure you don't hit his pads or his stick. But good pull up by Anthony Beauvillier playing the wrong side, and no, you just missed the net. And got to focus on hitting that net because if it doesn't go in, Brendan, I mean, there's a rebound.
They take one penalty. Anders Lee to the box after that scrum. Roughing call, and Lane Lambert wondering how they get just one.
Yeah, there's two guys going at it, and it takes two to tangle, but apparently not in the referee's eyes, and perhaps Anders got the last punch in, and a lot of times that's what the referees reward the opposition. It's a big kill right now for the Islanders. We'll take another look. Watch in front of the net, just see what goes on. A little cross check, another little cross check. Oh, that's just not much. I'm sorry. That's just maybe because he pulled his helmet off a little bit.
This is shot down the ice. It's interesting you say that. I mean, there is a rule where if you forcibly remove another player's helmet, it is a roughing penalty.
Yep.
That's normally reserved for during the course of play because the player would have to leave the ice. This was during a stoppage in play.
Yeah, a little pushing and shoving by both people.
Tkachuk lost it, got it back, and then his shot's deflected up off the glass. Here comes to Forsling. Right side, Barkov. Broken up by Pelech. Still came to Tkachuk. Parise stepped in front of that, and this will be cleared by the Islanders. Fifth power play of the game for the Panthers.
5 power plays to 2 at this point in time.
The Islanders have the only power play goal. Islanders killing with Soshnikov, Cizikas, Pulock, and Romanov. Cizikas hustling to it. Kept it from Tkachuk. Soshnikov forced it down. Cizikas has a step here. Casey Cizikas shorthanded. Bobrovsky comes out late. Cizikas pokes it up in the air and then bats it across the net mouth.
No, that would have been a sensational goal, pushing it past the Islander defender and then knocking it out of midair, and that puck almost found its way into the net area. That would have been great. Forsling made a little bit of a mistake, and so did Bob.
When Bobrovsky, talk about hesitation, he waited until the last possible moment to go. And it almost cost him. Ahura shoves it down for Verhaeghe, whiffs on a shot. Beauvillier helped it out of his skates, but Nelson can't escape with it, and the shot by Bennett is blocked. 15 seconds left on the Anders Lee roughing penalty. Ryan Pulock from his own end will bounce this one down the ice. And the Islanders seconds away from their 5th penalty kill.
Got another good job. We're really not allowing the Panthers all that much. Over the 5 power plays, 1 or 2 of them were pretty good. There's a high stick and on Palmieri.
Verhaeghe to the slot. Bennett tied up there nicely by Palmieri. Pass across. Gets on through. Radko Gudas hands it for Lundell. And this one guided off the glass by Sorokin. Anders Lee got there, met by Balcers. He's taken down to the ice, puck underneath him. Puck still down in underneath that pileup. As it comes out, it's Pelech looking for a way to advance. Pelech skated into 2 Panthers. Palmieri gets it deep. Kiefer Bellows getting a shift here, throws the hit on Gudas, can't come up with it. Bellows, Barzal, and Bailey for the moment, but Barzal headed off and Pajot coming on as this is whistled down on an offside. Just 1 goal through the first 2 periods, then 2 in 30 seconds traded between these two.
Just over 12 minutes left here in the 3rd period, and Casey Cizikas right there trying to find the equalizer in this game against the Panthers. They were shorthanded. Great play by Soshnikov to get the puck up, and the wheels on Casey Cizikas. The hard work, he chips it, and then the wherewithal to wait until that puck gets lower than his shoulder, so it's not a high sticking, and then also to make contact. What a play by Cizikas.
The finish would have been spectacular. Fans would have went absolutely bananas, but you expect second effort and tertiary effort by Cizikas. He's done it his whole career, so no surprises there.
Tertiary, good word, but
yeah, I got that from a school teacher. English.
Stuck with him. After he said thirdary too many times.
Yeah.
FanDuel is here to make every goal, save, and power play mean more. Right now, new customers can hit the ice with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet.
Islanders trailing the Florida Panthers 2-1 here on opening night. 11:52 left in regulation time. Brendan Burke, Butch Goring, AJ Malesko with you here from UBS Arena. As the Islanders break out of their own zone, Bailey with the alley-oop pass for Matt Martin, working in on Montour. He was able to just get rid of it. Barkov gave up the puck, but Pajot couldn't keep it in the zone. Pajot will leave it for Ryan Pulock, and then Bailey deflects it deep. Bobrovsky out of his net. Matt Martin closing in on him. Bobrovsky rides it along the glass. Pulock on the keep in. Pelech straight away takes a look. Tipped in front. It rolls wide. Pajot couldn't reach it.
Yeah, it looked like Matt Martin got his stick on it. And a little bit too much stick.
Martin has it pinned along the end boards. Ian Barkov. It came free for Pajot, but all the Islanders that are supporting him were below the goal line. And then Pajot's pass stolen away by Verhaeghe. Carter Verhaeghe chips it ahead. Gets to it himself. And a rough ride there from Pelech. Pulock, Barkov, all down low. Beauvillier uses the glass.
They had too many men on the ice. That ref almost blew the whistle, too. That should have been a penalty on the Islanders.
Anders Lee lost it as he entered the zone. Sam Bennett driving to the slot, kicks it over. Tkachuk shot off the glass.
Going high glove there, wasn't he?
Well, he's not shy about shooting the puck, is he?
No, not at all.
One comes out for Radko Gudas. Gudas shot blocked. Matthew Tkachuk, that was his 15th shot attempt tonight.
Yeah, he's
penalty here against the Panthers. There's the touch by Mahura. And the Islanders are going to have a chance on the power play after the hooking call. Matthew Tkachuk arguing the call.
Not him, though. That's going to the box.
It's going to be Balcers.
Take another look to see what where he was doing the damage with the hooking. Probably reaching in, and a lot of times with hooking, Brendan, you stop skating. Well, let's see where he is. He's got his stick up on the hands area of Anthony Beauvillier.
How much?
Not much, no.
The Islanders to the power play. Noah Dobson.
Oh, yeah.
To no one in particular.
That was it. Well, more succinctly to
Ekblad.
Yeah, to Ekblad right on his stick, though. That's the good news.
Balcers for hooking. Third power play of the night for the Islanders. Their first two power plays, one shot. It was the goal from Dobson. Palmieri slips in deep. Around towards Anders Lee. Lee to Nelson, and now Dobson. Barzal on the half wall. Dobson off his back foot, fired wide. Lee and Forsling.
Oh, good job by Lee to win that battle, Brendan.
Palmieri came and got the puck. Now it's Nelson to Dobson. Barzal brings it deeper to Palmieri off the post. Comes for Dobson. He kept it in. Nelson now to the net through the screen into the glove of Bobrovsky. And then Lee and Ekblad after the whistle.
Little obligatory push to get Lee out of the way, but a good play by Barzal to go down low and then look at the positioning as Palmieri. Again, talked about him finding the holes, knowing that Barzal is going to look for him, so he's in that high slot area, the quick release.
One of the adjustments it looks like on their power play so far is that you've got both Brock Nelson and Matt Barzal coming up high in the zone to help Dobson. So instead of necessarily a 1-3-1, they got three up high at sometimes, and then they have that accordion where Matt Barzal will close in down low. It gives a little bit more depth to the power play.
And it gets the PK moving, AJ, which is just important. You know, if you all stay in the same positions, well, so will the PK. So that's a good change for the Islanders' power play to make that PK move as much as possible and pull them out of position.
45 seconds left on the power play. Second unit out there for the Islanders. They're having a tough time getting set up after the initial faceoff was lost by Pajot. Second unit is Pajot, Beauvillier, Parisi, Bailey, and Salo, as this is blown down on a high stick against the Islanders.
I was going to say the Islanders in their breakout, they've had some good entries, but that one there was no speed, and then once you try to sort of chip it in and you don't have any speed, well, the Panthers are going to win that race because they've got about a 10-foot head start on you.
Oh, the break allowed them to get their number one unit back on, but a face-off win by the Panthers will keep the puck in their own zone. Inside half a minute to go on the man advantage. Matt Barzal will carry ahead. Barzal gets by Bennett and then stolen away by Tkachuk at the line. Barzal try to make that pass right at the blue line.
Yeah, got to make sure on those passes. A little lob pass.
Thompson over for Brock Nelson. Nelson turned it over as he got into the zone. And the power play coming to a close as this one is in no man's land, and it's taken by Lundell around the net. Centering feed got through Luostarinen. One Islanders shot, a second that hit the post, and they cannot tie the score.
Yeah, their last 2-3 times to try and get in, they turned the puck over.
Here's Cizikas. Bobrovsky played it away from Gudas, and then Soshnikov just gave it back to him. Ryan Pulock unable to keep it in. Could be an icing here as Pelech gets back there just ahead of Carter Verhaeghe for the icing.
Yeah, Soshnikov obviously not familiar with, not the same familiarity that Clutterbuck has with those two guys, so there was a little bit of a dangerous play, but Sorokin in behind. Well, didn't bounce out far enough for him, and then now he was trapped. He couldn't leave that trapezoid, Brendan. It would have been a 2-minute penalty, so the puck sort of stuck on him, and you're right, nowhere to go.
That shot from Pelech goes wide. Pulock pinching in down the boards. Soshnikov was there backing up, and his shot ramps off a stick and well up and out of play. Down to 7.5 to go here in the third period. Islanders looking for the equalizer. Time to look at tonight's player in control presented by Dell. Alex Romanov in his Islanders debut. How about 9 blocks to his credit? And he's been killing penalties and he's been physical.
You have to like his game, Brennan. He's been solid. Like he's not flashy. You don't see him running all over the place. He just very, very conservative with his energy, yet it's very explosive and very well meant would be the best way to describe his play. So good start for him on his new team.
Islanders looking to come back here. There's a broken stick on the ice belonging to Brock Nelson. He's able to kick that one soccer style, and a nice handoff by Lenny DeCostanza on the bench. The equipment staff for the Islanders had a stick ready for him, and he grabbed it in stride. Adam Pelech steps up and sends Reinhart reeling, but the puck continued on for Verhaeghe. Anders Lee pried it away. Pelech to Lee, and the Islanders up ahead. Lee gains the line. Montour knocked him off balance. He maintained control. They set up Mayfield, and it's off the heel of his stick. Mayfield loads it up, pulling into the skates of Beauvillier. He tried to help it back to Mayfield, never got there. Barkov on the dump in. Here's Beauvillier. He lost the puck to Barkov, and Barkov skates it into the center circle. Tkachuk will toss it down, bouncing puck, and that one kept alive by Sorokin. And then stretched ahead, it would have been a breakaway for Palmieri.
Good heads-up play by Romanov as he had his head up all the way. And
Islanders get the puck. It's in a dangerous spot. Dobson had a whack at it, didn't get a lot behind it. Now it's Tkachuk sneaking a pass through for Bennett. Balsers to the front. Romanov defended it well. Here's Palmieri. Barzal. Romanov up as well. It's Barzal. Turns the corner. Lost it. Rebound. Follow-up try. Parisi off the outside of the net.
And he was hooked too, Brendan. It should have been a penalty there.
Barzal stays with it. Loose puck far side. Tkachuk trying to clear. Dobson knocked it down with the glove. Parisi's in front. He gets it there. And Bobrovsky able to scramble and make the save out of the net. Forsling gave a shove to Barzal. Then Palmieri got involved. Tkachuk is again in the face of Parisi. And things calm down here after a flurry of chances for the New York Islanders. Awfully close, but still unable to tie the game. Inside 6 to play.
Well, the Islanders are down a goal, and time is not on their side. Less than 6 minutes to go, but we're talking about Romanov and how solid he's been. There's a good defensive play. He gets the puck up, and away they go right away, and it's Barzal with the good puck. Forsling, my only question, did he grab him with that right hand on the leg? Hard to tell. Barzal wasn't happy, but the last play is the Islanders continue to get the puck towards the net. So there's a push coming from the Islanders, and well, there should be.
Well, it was back and forth. That game broke wide open in the last few minutes. Had chances at both ends of the ice. Some urgency from the Islanders, which you certainly hope to see at this point in the game.
Islanders keep the puck in the zone, looking for the game-tying goal. 5.5 to play here in the third. Panthers with a 2-1 lead. Islanders fell behind in the second period. Got it tied in the third for 30 seconds before the Panthers responded on the very next shift. Here is Casey Cizikas. They'll toss this one in. It's Cizikas, Pajot, and Bailey on this shift. Puck comes around the wall. Stepping in was Dobson, met there by Verhaeghe. Now it's Pajot and Stahl. Dropped off at the side of the net. Cizikas had the stick slapped out of his hands. And the puck airmailed to center. Verhaeghe forced it away from Dobson. And Alex Romanov, as Radko Gudas was on the ice. He thought there were too many men on the ice. He jumped off, and they were one short for a moment.
Good time on his part. He's able to jump out right when Anders Lee received the pass. Might not have been as good a defensive play had he been on 5 seconds earlier.
He thought he was going to get called for a penalty. And Bennett knocked over by Romanov.
Good job there of interfering by Romanov. Puck got by him, and he just kind of zigged and zagged.
Romanov with a forearm shiver that sent Balcers down to the ice. Now Anders Lee keeps it from Gudas. Gudas throws himself to the wall. Puck came to Tkachuk. Glove down by Pelech at the line to hold it in. Anders Lee coming to get it. Lee continues it on. Closing in on 4 minutes to play. Beauvillier poked it to Pelech. Handed off for Barzal. Barzal makes his move. Takes his shot. It was along the ice and it hit the pad of Bobrovsky. Now it's Mayfield with a shot. That one tipped towards the corner. Adam Pelech jumps on it in a hurry. Centering feed. Nobody home. And Tkachuk will rescue it out of the zone. Long pass from Mayfield to Barzal. Barzal slips down the boards, changes directions. Took a whack. Pelech's pass will come to center as Pulock was just getting onto the ice.
Yeah, tough change for the Islanders there as the Islanders had some control in the offensive zone.
Palmieri, and it deflected wide. Just able to glove that down, but his shot hit a stick as soon as he let it go. Lostarinen shoved into the boards by Pulock. Palmieri protecting the puck. We'll leave it for Matt Barzal. And he finds himself a little bit of space. He needs a change, so we'll leave it for Romanov here with 3 minutes to play. Crowd trying to get involved. Islanders trying to get it even here on opening night. Bobrovsky came out of his net, stumbled, a little contact from Soshnikov. He's back in his net as the puck came off the stick of Pulock and out of the zone. Cizikas over for Josh Bailey. He'll shoot it in. Race for the puck. Montour got hit by Soshnikov. Cizikas unable to secure that puck. Soshnikov and Montour tie up. Reinhart springs Stahl.
Great pass there in the slot area to his defenseman Reinhart on his backhand there. Brendan, excellent exit.
Giveaway. Reinhart had a man in front. That was Verhaeghe. It drifted behind, and Soshnikov intercepts that pass. Pajot lost it in his skates, able to stumble out to center. Good hard work by Pajot to make sure it gets deep. Islanders getting a change with everybody else.
See when Lane Lambert pulls his goaltender, it'll probably be around the minute-and-a-half mark. See if he has any different philosophy than most of the coaches in the NHL.
He's waiting for him right now. He's calling him.
He's going with a minute 53. Brock Nelson, the extra attacker, on for the Islanders. That one off the glass and out of play. No penalty, but an offensive zone faceoff coming with the Islanders holding the extra attacker.
See if they call a timeout here, Brendan. John McLean has the chalkboard.
It sure looks like it.
Yeah, see if he's going to design something.
There we go.
They waited until they were forced to make a decision. And
timeout, Islanders.
Lane Lambert signals for the timeout. It's brought to you by our local Honda dealers. Visit one today. So John McLean in charge of the offense here for the New York Islanders. New coaching staff on the other side for the Florida Panthers as well. Ulf Samuelsson and Derek McKenzie were not brought back. Andrew Brunette now with the Devils. Tomo Ruutu did not stay for his second season. So Hammond and entirely new staff on the bench for the Florida Panthers.
Let's see who some of these guys are, Brendan. Well, Rick. So it's Brent Peterson, and Brent Peterson, long time with the Nashville Predators.
You got Sylvain Lefebvre, Jamie Compton on the bench. As this face-off will be between Nelson and Barkov. Isles have the edge in face-offs tonight. As this tie up and it comes out for Nelson. Barzal gets away from Tkachuk, who's lost his stick. Barzal, Pajot whiffed on the shot. The puck is still loose. Batted around just outside the crease, drifting at the side of the net. Now it's back behind. Lee pushed it for Nelson. There's a loose stick, a broken stick in the crease of Bobrovsky. Ekblad playing without one. It's Barzal along the boards. Can the Islanders exploit that broken stick with the extra attacker? Dobson can't keep it in the zone, and Tkachuk will have an empty net to put it away. The Islanders had all the pressure. They had it set up, and Noah Dobson, who scored the only Islanders goal, had that one just bounce by him.
Yeah, the Islanders had these chances. It was a great face-off win by Brock Nelson, which really set the tone for the entire 6-on-5. He battled for it, and he got it cleanly back. And it was a quick pass from Dobson over to Barzal. That's exactly what they want to do. And then look where Lee goes, right where he is. I wish he had been there a little more throughout the game, but he's so strong there. And this is where Ekblad breaks his stick, loses it, and eventually is without.
And he was playing with a broken stick, really. You saw him near the crease, got away with that. But
he sure did.
Islanders had no excuses, AJ. I mean, they had an opportunity, and they let the puck get by him. And you could see it was a problem there. Was the three of the guys were Palmieri, Barzal, and Dobson were all really close to one another.
You know, I give credit to the Panthers, though. They were really aggressive right off the face-off when they lost it. They came out two at a time, two guys fronted them, putting them under pressure right off the get-go.
Islanders have brought Sorokin to the bench again, as they now need two in the final minute. Matthew Tkachuk has his first as a Panther into an empty net. Noah Dobson, soft shot on net and in out of the glove of Bobrovsky. Dobson again, now for Nelson. Nelson's shot hits Zizekas. He can't turn it on goal.
No one really in front of the net. Now Parise's got himself there. Look how high up the Panthers are playing. So it's almost a 4-on-2 down low, a 4-on-3 down low for the Islanders.
Thompson kept it in. Parise with 22. Zizekas moved it to Bailey. Dobson let it fly, hit off Lindell's stick and out of play. And so the Florida Panthers are just 14 seconds away from picking up a win here on Long Island to start their season.
And a tough loss for the Islanders. And you know, as a group, they want to forget last year, Brendan, and they wanted to start off on the right foot. They wanted to win that first game and generate a little momentum. But they have Saturday night now to try and get back into the winning column.
Barzal with a shot, and that one I think hit off of Barkov and wound up in the netting, up above the glass, down to 6.3 on the clock.
They've done a good job, the Panthers. They have new coaching staff, and anytime you want to implement a system, it doesn't happen right away, and the same can be said for Lane Lambert. But Paul Maurice has been around, got a lot of playoff experience, and he had his team ready to play tonight, as did Lane Lambert. Both these guys, I thought, checked extremely well. There was good energy out there. It was tough to score goals here. I mean, really, when you look at it, 2-1 is the hockey game, right? 3 goals in 3 periods total.
Opening night here on Long Island goes the way of the Florida Panthers. Sergei Bobrovsky stops 31 of 32 Islanders shots and picks up the victory for Paul Maurice in his Panthers debut. Lane Lambert will have to wait until Saturday to get another crack at his first win as an Islander head coach. Back to wrap things up in a moment. 3-1 the final score. Panthers take it on opening night at UBS Arena.